Alexander Gill here. Hope you're all doing well and isolation is treating you well. I've been speaking with a fair amount of people at the moment, just shedding some knowledge and sharing some things that I've been through. So I really wanted to make this video for anybody out there that can get in their own head. So this week I'm going to talk about thoughts. Even though I've been learning other things, I think it's a really important subject to talk about with people. Just because I'm a recovering people pleaser. Like, I used to get in my head a lot, and I used to think that I am my thoughts. But in actual fact, life is a complete compilation of your decisions. That is why you have to be intentional. So if you unpack that a bit further, what are your intentions? Do you listen to that voice? I'd love to take it back a little bit and just teach you a bit about your brain. So I've been on a brain journey, as you could say, for the past about 2 years. So for my birthday, I have New Year's resolutions as well as New Year's resolutions. They could just be from no beer for a year, or I will meditate, or I'm going to surround myself with ists, so specialists, from acupuncturists, to psychologists. Anyone that is a specialist in their own field can actually enable you to learn a lot about yourself. And I know there's some stigma behind things, but at the same time, do what's right for you. So in this short clip, I'm going to talk a bit about strategies, a bit about thoughts, and then overcoming. So what I've learned from thoughts are that thoughts can't beat thoughts. The way you beat a thought is by actually speaking out loud. Our brain, we're the most advanced animal or creature on this planet. That's a given. Do you know why or how? Do you understand how your gut is connected with your brain and different parts? Basically, the frontal lobe, this part here, is called your neocortex. There's the limbic part, which is the two parts behind it. The limbic part is the emotion center. So we've actually got the amygdala gland that's inside of that. But that is actually where where you get a gut feeling. You're like, oh, it just feels, my gut's saying no, or if something like that. That part of your brain can't actually communicate because it doesn't have that intelligence to it. Whereas the neocortex is more about the language center. And there's also a reticular activation system in there that I can talk about another time. And that's just about where you start to see things on a regular basis. That's where that is activated a lot more. So knowing a bit about your brain and how it works, we have basically, a best analogy that I've been giving people is your brain is like a Windows 95 computer that is working with an up-to-date laptop. We are old school. Our brains taught us that if a rock falls or a predator comes, run, get out the way. Our brain is hardwired negative DNA. And what's the way that you can do that? It's your input, it's your association, it's your environment. What are you doing to give it good food, good nourishment? Are you even meditating? Meditating is just sitting with your thoughts. It's actually the gym for the brain. But there was something else that I was going to bring up there. Maybe my brain's not currently working at optimum. With your brain, it can. If you're watching a lot of comparison programs, like I used to watch a lot of Jeremy Kyle and things like that, and it makes you feel good because you're like, oh, it's not that I'm not as bad as these people. It makes you feel better about yourself, as harsh as that sounds. But at the same time, you're actually adding more pollution into your brain because it's more gossip, or it's more like Love Island and all of these programs. Yeah, I used to be guilty. I used to watch some of the programs, but not anymore because they're all scripted. They're not reality, even though it's reality TV. Reality TV is if you take a camera and go into some slums for asylum seekers. It's if you go into refugee camps and go to another country that's war-torn. That is reality TV, but we won't watch that. We'll watch some jacked up lads that are very tan. Good looking, I'll give them that. But then these women and, oh my God, babe, I just don't know, babe. And it's like, what are you feeding that brain? And what is the thoughts process? So there's a thing called Jim Quick calls ants, so kill ants, which are automatic negative thoughts. Our brain will be sending us these strange things. But how often have you observed your brain and actually stepped back? Another good analogy is if you're stood on the side of a busy road, a big freeway, 5 rows of traffic going past on each side, You're just stood on the side of the freeway, watching the traffic go by. The traffic is like your thoughts. You're an observer. You don't have to give anything attention to that thought. It's when you decide to give power to that thought, it will become a thought. There's also another layer which is the reverse of this called auto-suggestion, which I can do another talk on, which I work very hard on. That's all about making your own destiny, because that becomes your front thought. But taking into consideration that you're on the side of the freeway, you're watching everything go by, your brain has so many thoughts. I think it's 75,000 to 90,000 thoughts per day. And 91% of them are all past experiences, so you're not even really looking to go in the future. But let's maybe talk about some techniques that you can use. So one that I use highly is I thank the thought. So say I could have a thought come in and I would just say, thank you for that thought. I'm not going to listen to you, and I'll carry on. Because you're not your thought, but your thoughts, I can't explain where they come from, because that's a whole nother layer of the universe and all of this. But a great way to work with it is to thank the thought. Thank you for, I'm going to carry on doing this. You don't have to get into a rabbit hole of your thoughts where it's just a spiral. And often some people get so in their head, they're unagi, that they can't get out. And you're not going to build a great future if you're just stuck in your own head. Another one is to say it very slowly, or one that I like is that you could either sing it or put on a voice. So just to be very transparent and be vulnerable with you, I used to call myself an idiot all of the time. I'd say, oh, you're such an idiot. Oh, you're such an idiot. And it would just be because of my personality type that I like to be efficient. I'd left something in another room. But after you compound all of this negative talk, it just escalates and then it becomes exponential. You have to unplug to realize what you're doing. So another way that I did it was I would say you're such an idiot in a high, girly voice. Or you could do it like a Mickey Mouse. They say, you're such an idiot. Like all of these, I can't do a good Mickey Mouse. Maybe that is, I don't know. There's some other ways. So another thing, if you would really love to jump in on this, feel free to reach out to me on email. Also, there's a leaves on a stream metaphor or exercise. I would highly recommend going through that. Check that out. Another technique is saying, how old is that story? Because your thoughts can really impinge your future, but you are in control of them. That is the best part. You actually control your thoughts. You can't control when they come in, but you can control the power you give them. So you might have a dominating thought like I used to have of the idiot, and you can actually just thank it, put on an accent, oh, you're such an idiot. Like, it's ridiculous, but if you give power to it, it becomes a dominating thought. So one thing I would want to leave you with is Einstein once said that the significant problems we face today cannot be solved at the same level of thinking we were at when we created them. So think of every day how you're growing and give yourself perspective. Hope this has helped someone out there, and yeah, I would love to definitely dive if you want to see anything on auto-suggestion or anything like that. Yeah, I hope you're keeping well in these times.